Sorry.
No, that is.
Are we recording?
Yeah. We'll go into a little bit of an icebreaker then. There's not really point in going into start.
Thank God we don't have to say that script.
I know. We'll say a little few of the icebreakers we have for you. But before I ask any of these that we have written down, I'm asking about the coal house.
100% he's going to say it.
Because you're from Ballyframe, I feel like I have to ask this.
Go for it. What is it?
Do you say under the stairs or a cold house?
Definitely under the stairs.
Yes, but do you know what a coal house is?
No.
Yeah, we used to hold a coal out the back garden.
Why is that
under the stairs is under the stairs?
Because you wouldn't hold...
But did you not used to call under your stage your coal house and you're like a ma's or your nanny's?
Never. Coal house for me was a little bunker out the back that the coal was held in.
So you never...
And you shovel it and bring it into the house.
No, Kenneth, I'm delighted you said that and I'm not even exaggerating.
No, because
you thought he was going to say coal house.
She literally said, I'm going to ask him, and I says 100% he's going to say coal house.
No, she was like as if like she knew all. She was like, oh, he is, and now it's not.
But he still knows what coal house is.
You know, I do know what a coal house is, and it kind of...
If you were in someone's house though and they says, will you grab me jacket under the coal house, where would you go?
I'll be honest with you, I did hear me nanny and I used to hold the coal under the stairs, I think.
And that's how you end up
so I think that's where it came from.
Yeah. That's just how it is.
Well,
I just say under the stairs,
Kenneth, grab me jacket under the coal house there, where would you go?
I wouldn't be looking for it under the stairs. I don't know to be fair. In the coal house. But I do remember me nanny having the coal under the stairs years ago as a kid. So
no, because she never heard of that. And I remember I asked in a podcast, now we are saying this or that, like house coat or dressing gown or whatever. And I asked two people on the podcast, Eve being one of them, and they were like, what is a coal house? Never heard of it. Yeah. But I really thought you'd back me up on it.
No, sorry, I didn't. I honestly, I vaguely remember it as a coal house, but under the stairs. Is where we'd say. Me, no? Grab me coat from under the stairs.
Right, we're going to the actual real icebreakers. I just wanted to ask you that. So, would you prefer to go into the future or go back to the past?
Oh,
I know this is a hard
question, isn't it?
Thanks.
See, if I went back to the past, I'd probably correct some of my wrongs, which would change the way I turned out.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think I'd like to look into the future to see what way the shit's going to turn out.
But then you might not be where you are now and have what you have going for yourself.
No, exactly. So
because all your mistakes don't they?
Yeah, your mistakes make it. You know what I mean? I always find, but no, I think I'd like to go into the future because AI and all this stuff that's happening now is just blowing my mind.
No, it is.
It's actually scary. It's not even like I think AI is scary. Did you see that thing with Molly May?
Oh, and she's like, I didn't want to come on and talk about this now.
Did you see that?
No.
So, now the way there's a big huge joke with Molly May and Tommy Fury at finishing, right? So, everyone was wondering
I didn't even know they were finished, but go on.
Are you actually?
No, I swear, I'm living under a rock. I do. I live in my own little bubble. Like, I do hear certain things. You know what I mean?
Right, but anyway, it blew up. It was even on the radio. I don't know how you've not heard about it because the only thing that's talking about. So, they're at the finish and everyone's like, why have they finished? Like, what's going on? So, everyone's like, obviously wondering, pretending that they finished because he got a girl pregnant, blah, 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 right?
Cheated or whatever.
So, a video got released of Molly May talking and she was like, okay, he cheated on me and I'm not a person to stay with someone. I'm independent. I don't need any man to know my worth, right? So everyone was putting up this post on Instagram saying, fair play to her speaking out, like that's the woman you want to be, blah, blah. So I started Googling this video and found it on TikTok. But what I found was an actual robot that put on Molly May's body and used her voice. It was fake. The whole thing was fake.
So they weren't even broke up?
No, they were broke up.
Right, but that video was
never
fake.
released.
It was off our YouTube channel, basically. They took a video
can take your voice.
Yeah, it's unreal.
And changed what she said, basically, into, like, in other words, do you know what I mean? But it was an old video from, like, 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's crazy. They can take your face recognition, the whole lot, and turn you into,
and then
like...
Taylor Swift being in a porno and all, like, that's not...
Yeah?
They put Taylor Swift's body
she
on her
was. She's mad.
No, I swear she's able to like sue whoever or that because they have a declaration or whatever that is. And then even like that Aaron McGregor picture that went around, did you see that as well?
No. You're seeing everything.
Yeah, I always get sent this stuff. I don't know what we got on my group chat.
Yeah, it's scary when you think of it like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where people would think.
Well, why would you want to go into the future and see it just to see what's kind of going on, what it looks like?
It goes. Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's look, life is changing every day of the week, and life changes as we go. Look at us 50 years ago to now.
Yeah.
So I think embrace it. There's nothing you can do. You have to just go with it. And it can scare you. But the unknown is scary to everyone. So,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I love it, the fact that it's making everyone's life so easy. I know you want to know now. I just Google it.
Google it.
I go on to AI or whatever.
I know that Google's dangerous as well, isn't it? Though,
you don't listen.
Here, once someone says something, I don't mind to be in the corner like that. Next of all, someone's like, oh, you didn't like Google. Do you know what I mean?
Or I've been sick the last 2 weeks and like that I Googled 1 or 2 things and up the wall then thinking I have this, I have that.
Yeah.
You know, because I wasn't well, but Google's not the one to go to, I don't think.
No. Another one of our icebreakers we have is, what is your top 5 apps you use on your phone? I feel like you can tell a lot about people by the top 5 apps.
Okay, top 5 apps. I'd use my notes a lot.
So do I actually.
I use my alarm a lot, believe it or not, because all my reminders are on my alarm. So when my alarm goes off, a reminder's attached to it.
I thought you could only add an alarm to your reminder, but not on your. You can add a reminder to your alarm.
Yeah, so before I go to bed at night, if I'm thinking I have 5 things to do tomorrow morning, bang them all with a time and an alarm with them. So it pops up.
You shouldn't tell me that now. I'm going to be going to do
podcast. So that me notes, me alarm. Obviously, my Instagram would be a big one because I tried to promote me business and stuff. Yeah. The WhatsApp, obviously. And what would be the third? I think ChatGDP. I'm starting to love that.
What's that?
It's AI. It's ChatGDP. It's just like.
Is that the thing you have?
No, but I'd be on Snapchat.
You're gonna. This will blow you on mine. ChatGDP. It's free at the minute, but you can pay for a GT4, I think, version of it. Where you just ask it
and
any question it tells you. If you want to write an email to someone,
I love that.
And you're not too sure about how to word it. Like I've done it in my job loads of times. I'm probably ratting on myself here. But no, it's a great way of just wording stuff perfectly. You know what I mean? And not like we're bleeding from Ballia. Like, so when we saying something, if you're banter chatting away, but if you want to write a proper email or a good message, say for instance, if we want to get a message across to someone and hit emotional sides of it, I'll type that into a question. Will you write me a question to ask this person, which will touch on this emotion, that emotion, and such? Yeah. And then they'll give me a bleeding list of questions to ask.
Does the question bounce back to you or like straight away?
Seconds.
Yeah, that's like Snapchat as well.
She does that on Snapchat. Like for example, she typed in.
So Snapchat must be connected to AI then as well, is it?
Yeah, like we want to see what she sent me yesterday. Like so, she typed in. She was like, "Hey, we have an inspirational figure who does running, who has overcome addiction. Can you give me a list of questions?"
I love it.
I was like, AI is giving
Start reading them out. Start reading them out.
I was like, Eva, I can't even pronounce that words in the book.
You got a pure, so no, it's not you asking the questions, right? You should.
I need to get that off him now before we leave because I don't obviously have Snapchat.
Yeah, so do I. Because I feel like obviously I do use Snapchat, but I feel like if I had the actual app for that, I'd use it way more. I feel like I don't know. I feel weird.
I love it. Even for like. For one time I was gone for I wanted to get a new phone and work and I didn't know how to word that, so I just typed into it exactly the reasons why I think I should need an upgrade in my phone.
Well, AI did.
And AI did. No, I told AI and he told me back what way to ask for it. But it worked in the end, so it gave me a cracking email, worded perfectly. You know what I mean? So a lot of people know it's not coming from me.
Even by the likes of Instagram posts, if you want to write a caption and stuff.
Yeah, you can write hooks and all with it. You can say to them, write me a hook to attract young girls to me new makeup range, or and it'll give you little hooks. And it's
I feel like I'm trying to get a little bit into AI myself, though, Joe, and I'm not using it. I'm like typing it like as if I'm there.
Yeah, no, it is good. I'll have to get that now.
What's your 5 apps?
Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat.
No, but you know what? I don't have Facebook. I don't have Instagram. I don't know how to even use them, if I'm being honest, because I've never had them. So Instagram, WhatsApp, obviously.
I feel like as you said notes.
No, but me alarm and me notes, like all I have is me notes. I have many to-do lists. I have 100 to-do lists and I have a to-do list about a to-do list. So me notes, I obviously use my alarm as well every bleeding morning.
I never thought of saying them to him until he
said. And you know what? Kids YouTube for the baby. It's probably my top one that is always used.
Well, to be fair, YouTube for me as well. I love meditating in the mornings, and so we're going to YouTube. If you look at my YouTube search, it's just all different meditations that I use.
Do you do like a long meditation in the morning or like a short meditation? Or
5 minutes is all. Sometimes now if I'm bored, I'm in the gaff.
Does that not make you want to fall back asleep though?
No.
Some of them are empowering ones though, aren't you? Like?
Yeah, I find meditation for me is like, I won't say prayer, but if you're a bit spiritual and you know you've been through trauma and stuff like that, sometimes when you wake up in the morning, your mind is negative, you're thinking of the wrongs, you're thinking of all the shit that you have to do there. Where if you flip it on your head and just think, I have a chance to do these things, number one, because I have to wake you fucking up. Yeah. So I like to meditate in order to get my brain in that little, just a good space, basically.
Have you got like a certain one that you listen to that you're like, oh, that's a certain one that I like?
Sometimes I do, and I'll WhatsApp them to myself. I'll share it to me WhatsApp, and then I'll go back and search on that. But no, not really. It depends. Sometimes I just flick it and then I stop with whatever one I stop on.
I've one that I found. Remember, I keep telling you about me walking meditation. It's actually while you're walking, so you have to be moving. But I did be telling Aoife, like one of the times I'd often go off on my bike, like in the morning, or I'd go to the gym at 5. Obviously with the dark nights now I won't anymore. But there was one time I went to the California Hills and I was listening to this meditation. But it was all about like obviously you're lucky if you're even able to walk and be in your surroundings. If you're listening to this device, you're very lucky. But I started taking off my runners and my shoes and my socks, right, in the middle of the California Hills at 5 o'clock in the morning. And I says to Eva, if anyone see me from Ballyfermot, they think I was only banger walking around, do you know what I mean, thinking she must be all night, look at her up in the middle of the field there, no shoes on. But I was like, no, I just kind of wanted to connect, but I felt amazing after it.
There's something to be said about that, but I love doing it when I'm camping. Shoes off, you know, in nature. And I know a lot of people say, fuck that, because we're all caught up in these lives that are just
it's all just manic.
Manic. where there's a lot to be said around nature. I always find that I'm at my calmest when I'm camping. If I want to switch off, I go down, I go camping, I'm just at my calmest, sitting there.
Do you just bring a tent with you, like?
Yeah, I have a rooftop tent that I connect to my car.
To your car, right?
Yeah, I only got that recently now, but usually I just camp. Yeah, just a tent.
And come here, do you put a bed in that? Like on top of your roof?
Yeah, there's a bed on top of that. So basically it opens up like a big sandwich.
Yeah, I seen them.
There's a folded mattress inside.
It's looking deadly though.
Really good. They're deadly.
And you need a ladder then to get up on top.
Yeah, there's a ladder with it. So
yeah,
it's you want to see how simple it is, but it's so easy. You just unclip it, take the cover off, and when you flip it open, it's like it's ready to sleep in, basically. No messing around, you know.
Yeah.
I had it in an electric picnic this year. I was bleeding deadly. Loved it. So
I said I'd love to do that, but bring the caravan with us.
Electric picnic?
Yeah, but no, only if I was doing the caravan now. I wouldn't be able to do a tent.
I know, the caravan site is the furthest away, don't honestly.
Yeah. No, it's not anymore. It's not anymore.
It's very long.
I tell you, even we had some cracking sessions down there.
I know, that's why I'm thinking you want to be on that caravan.
Straight away, because I hadn't seen Eva in ages, and I was thinking the last time we were
Wait till I see her.
The memories I have was all of us in
I
think it was Electric Picnic or probably Life Festival, but we used to have some really great times down there.
I know, they
yeah,
I've never went, and I keep saying now I'd love to go.
I never went to a festival either, and when I went to that then I was like, that's the best day of my life, that was deadly, I'm never missing it.
Oh, I need to go.
They're brilliant.
No,
yeah, the camping and nature, man, I love it. I just love switching off every couple of weeks.
How many times would you meditate? Would you only meditate once in the day, like?
No, sometimes I meditate 3 times.
Yeah,
depending on what type of day.
I just feel like it.
But if I'm bored, rather than picking up my phone, sometimes I think, no, I just want to get my mind set for whatever. Say I have to focus on something. So I literally go onto YouTube, meditation for focus, 5-minute meditation, sit there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So but just find it hard to like struggle to focus sometimes, and you use that to bring you back down to help you do it. Like?
Sometimes, yeah, if you're stressed, you know, if you have a lot going on, you know what I mean, and you want to try focus on one thing. But for me, it's just about walking out into a mad world with a calm in mind. That's the way I look at meditation. So, you know what I mean, for me.
Sometimes I feel like I need a D5 just to calm me down. Seriously. I'm like, I need to be walking around and taking D5 24/7.
Yeah. Just to relax yourself, I know, because everything's like...
Do you know what? And it's mad because the amount of people we have, and all they do is like...
I know, Vanessa, like, I was only saying this to Kenneth.
Literally, like the amount of people we've had on, they're always talking about mindfulness and obviously looking after yourself. Like, and we're like, oh my God, right, that's it now. After listening to him, we need to do it. And then we'll go out and we'll have a list of 100 things to do and we just don't do it. It's just so hard to like try.
Yeah. It's like when a hamster wheel.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
You definitely need time to switch off because like I'm at the noticing, and especially I think it's my age as well because I'm hitting 50 now in January.
Jesus.
And I can feel that my body's not giving me the signals I want to slow down, but it's just shutting down on me.
Oh,
so
right,
like,
so you're getting sick.
I'm just, like I come back from Spain, I was lucky enough to get walk over there 2 weeks ago. Came back, went straight into, I was delayed in the airport till 5 in the morning or something, getting home on the Friday. Back into work Saturday. Same again Sunday.
You didn't give yourself a break.
Monday, I want to see the state.
Why do we think we can do that to
I was in bed, broke up, puking, fucking sweating. I think I have a bad dose.
Yeah.
And I think I'm only coming around this week, 2 weeks nearly, where my body just actually said, fuck you, can't go any longer. Just doing too much.
Do you know what? If he said that, I'm like, you're mad, you should be looking after yourself.
Yeah. And straight away, you're not doing it, yeah.
No, yeah, you don't take
You should put a day in place where you do a bit of self-care. Or, or a morning maybe, like
we
for me.
We said we'd do that last week and then we didn't even see each other.
Do you know what's great? Go out to Portmarnock. Go out to, what's his name? Shawnee does be out there on the beach at 10 o'clock on a Sunday. Oh, that's the breathing,
is it a mindfulness?
It's not, it's yoga he has. Most Sundays if it's nice out, he'll have yoga on the beach. But I use that as my little reset. Yeah. So every Sunday it's just, not no phones, but just try not to go on the phone as much. Get up, me and her go out to the beach, do our yoga, and then I'll just sit around listening to music, chilling out, probably bring lunch with us if we can. But that's kind of my self-care. I always make sure that's my little switch off.
Where's that place that I don't know where this came into my head, where you do go for the Sims, but has like a shelter on it?
Yeah, Portmarnock.
Oh, that's in Portmarnock.
Yeah, but not Portmarnock Beach. If you Google Portmarnock Beach, it brings you to the car park.
There's a car park and you go over the hill. I actually went to it before.
That's lovely now there as well. I often went there, but down where the shelters are, it's nice because even if it's raining, you can still go.
Doesn't he do that yoga above in front of the shelters? Does he?
Yeah, right in front of it, or on the grass maybe sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes he goes on top of them as well.
You should go there.
But you shouldn't, definitely, especially if you're so busy. If you're doing
do you know what we said to ourselves? Because every obviously second Monday now we're only telling that we're going to do the podcast, so we're trying to schedule it so that we're being like
so
on the ball.
Do something
So every second Monday we were saying to ourselves, we'll even still make time for me and you. Like we'll still meet up because we can do our research or whatever. But that we can be down. We said even if we go for a swim or something, or just. But then we didn't meet each other because we're like, fuck that, it's a day off. We're not meeting each other. But we'll go back.
Sick of fucking seeing you.
I know. That's it, we're on the phone 24/7.
Do you have good stuff?
Yeah, thanks.
So, what is your biggest achievement that you feel like to date in life?
Definitely the running club.
Yeah, the one that you...
Well, when I say that, my daughter, obviously my daughter,
Courtney. We had a question. I said he's 100% going to say Courtney.
Yeah, I thought that as well. I was like, if I would just say Courtney.
Yeah, no, Courtney, obviously.
Well, other than Courtney,
I think the running club. Definitely my biggest achievement. And getting clean, I suppose, from heroin addiction as well. That would have been my biggest. But up to date now, looking back, I'm so proud of where the club is at. And
have you taken the step back from that now, or are you still like 100%?
No, I'm still doing it. Yeah, I'm still the head coach, still with the committee. 28 hours a week I deal with that. But my role is the community coach in the community. So half my hours are with the running club, and then half would be with after school programs, the juveniles.
And that's is that with the base, like?
Yeah, with family base. So that's where my role.
And come here, how long is that running club up and running now? Like up and running?
Jesus, what? So say I think 2008 I done my first marathon. I was running before that. If I'm not mistaken, it's about 15 years ago we got our first T-shirts. I made the Facebook page.
That's actually mad because I feel like I still remember that, and I feel like 15 years ago was like. Yeah. I forget how old I am. That was well. I
think when I'm looking back on some of the photographs, I don't realise that 15 years has passed. Do you know what I mean? It's mad how you look back and you think.
Time goes by so quick. Sure, since we've been at them festivals, that's about 7 years.
I know.
And you wouldn't think that. Everything just goes by in the blink.
Oh wait, I really want to go to a festival.
I actually haven't been to a festival in like 2 years.
We can book that now.
Yeah. Definitely the running club with that one.
Who would you say like inspires you when you think of people, or like if you listen to podcasts or you do anything? Who inspires you?
There's a guy I love at the minute, Rich Roll. He's a podcaster, you'd like him, but he's an ex-addict, alcoholic as well, and I think he's a bit of an inspiration for me. Obviously people in Dublin are a great inspiration for me. I'm trying to think, I don't want to say names and then start missing out on people, but there was loads of people. There was one man, I have to mention him, Pat, on my Mars Road. He was the one who inspired me to run years ago, because you're an outlet and you'd see him leaving the gaff, and then I'd be on the bus going to town, you see him running by the bleeding bus in the middle of town. And he goes to Coliseum. A lot of the people had known from there. But he was probably one of the inspiration to start running years ago, because I used to look at him in town and say, how the fuck is he running from Ballyfermot into town? But yeah, I know loads of people that inspired me. Like tons of people that on the ground here in Dublin, like Jerry Redmond, another triathlete from the north side. He's a pro. He inspired me to run. Obviously David Goggins, listening to him online. But David Goggins would have been a big inspiration, but obviously he got loads of injuries because of listening to him saying, forget about the body, just push through the pain, all this shit.
I've never heard of the people now that he's saying. No, like usually, you know, when you ask people and they're always like, oh, I listen to like Tony Robinson, now you hear always the same people, because you only realise them from
the names.
If
you show me the faces, I know the faces. I'm no good with names. Like she said your man earlier on, I said
Tony Robinson,
Then she showed me the photo.
He's good, Tony's good. I like listening to him.
And I was
sometimes.
only explaining to Anthony on the 12th now, his dates are getting released for next year. Like,
for to visit Dublin?
No, it's in Germany, but it's the only place in Europe that he's going to do. But
he's going to be big, isn't he? They'll be sold out.
Yeah, the tickets are like 1,600, and on the 12th they're getting released for 699.
Okay. Shit.
If you get it on that day. So I was like, right, I'm actually just going to put it on, and if you get it for that price.
If that's your thing, you know what I mean? Go for it.
Here was, even if I just get it from my partner for Christmas or something, I was like, one of us will go and inspire from it.
And tell us what he said.
Yeah, tell us, just record the whole thing.
Yeah. That's it. Well, yeah, loads of people inspired me throughout the years. Like,
but yeah, man, Pat from a young age, so it was definitely someone that
Paddy on my Mars Road, he would have been one of the outlets, because I always remember being baffled how someone could run Ballyfermot into town.
Is he bald?
Yes.
I was going to ask that. Does he have glasses?
Yeah. You would wear glasses now. I think him and his little wife did running around, but he'd be tall now.
And
he's giving everyone death in the gym.
He's in the gym, like, and he's big, like, you know what I mean?
I think I know.
I know the fella.
You're talking about someone from the Ballyfermot gym.
That's one of them that goes around giving everyone death, and I'd be cracked about him. I'd remember him saying something.
No, this fella, Paddy that I'm talking about, would be quiet enough, but he's well known in the gym, but you would have known as like seeing him floating around the area.
Yeah, no, I do. I think I know. And here I just picturing a bald fella. I know who you're talking about, though. Big staunch fella.
Yeah, he's big as well, but he's baldy.
I know who you're talking about. I don't want to say where he's from, because then everyone will know and you'll give him death.
No, I'm like, he's like me. Like, I give everyone death.
Now every bald big fella around is thinking, they talking about me.
Actual death. I just mean a bit of banter. But sorry. So, if money wasn't an option, Ken, and there was one thing that you could bring to Cherry Orchards that you really think would help the community, what would it be and why?
A rehabilitation centre, I think, for me.
Oh, that's a very good answer.
I just feel like, and it's a hard one, because it's like addiction is so bleeding tough, you know what I mean? It's 24 hours a day for someone to get clean, and then they haven't got centres. I don't know if I do an addiction.
Are you saying like a stay-in one?
Yes, not probably Ballia, because I think you have to bring yourself away from it a little bit as well. But I just feel that when someone needs support to give up drugs, a lot of the places you have to be clean to get into them. which I think is fucking mental.
I think you need just like I do.
And
Just think about family members.
yeah.
I'm like, you just want to lock them up and just stick them in
And
there.
I think it's down to the work effort that has to go into getting someone clean.
Yeah.
I suppose, and that they just haven't got the facilities or the, I suppose, the money to finance that. You know what I mean? And then there's so many people go into treatment and then fall over after a week. So they're thinking, are we wasting time and money? But for me, if I had loads of dough, I think I'd build something just outside Dublin, real, what would I call it? Like kind of spiritual mindfulness place. You know, that people could go and if they wanted to get clean and they decided themselves to get clean, probably that's what I would.
See the way you're saying there, like, because that is one of the things I always say, like, you have to be clean to go into one of their centres. Like, what way do you think should go? Like, do you think that's right? You should be clean before going in.
I think there's a.
Like, I think there should be a coming down.
Yeah, no, there's a lot to be said
there?
about it. There's a lot to be said about that, and why they don't just take people in that's clean, because I think it's their commitment to want to get clean. So I think there's a lot to be said around that. If someone really wants it, they'll go and they'll get help. They'll seek out professional help. They'll probably go on a methadone program, and then if they're on the methadone program for a few weeks, I think you're allowed to go into a treatment centre.
Okay.
But I know there's a big waiting list for any treatment centre because of the amount of people who decide to get clean, not for themselves, but because they're to get nicked, because they're fucking,
because they're trying to
their
get
marriages
off
are to breaking down.
Stuff,
You know, it's basically rock bottom
Yeah.
that causes you to get clean. And I think the reason there's not enough centres is because it's so hard. You know what I mean? And the money side of it, I'd say, is colossal to keep someone 24 hours a day for 2 weeks to get clean, and then with the hope that they stay clean. You know, so there's a
they're
lot.
probably always coming back.
Big percentage of them probably aren't, because they're going back to the same place they were in before, like around the same people, same atmosphere, everything, and then they go into.
But I think for me, some sort of holistic place in the mountains I'd love if I had.
I'd love to go.
You know what I mean? Yeah, just to get everyone clean. Or even just to chill out, whatever.
So I'm going to just get into a little bit about you now.
Yeah.
So we kind of want to hear from the very start, kind of about your story and about you.
Okay. I'm obviously living in Ballia nearly all my life, but I started out in James's Street. We were born down in the tenement houses across from James's Hospital.
Right.
My dad was an alcoholic and my ma was a hard-working mother. But basically, we were poor as fuck, to be fair. Like, I always remember us having very little growing up. And with my dad being a drinker, he probably spending all the money in the lady pub, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. But I always remember us having to be in the tenement house. Vagrant memories, because I would have been only 3 or 4, you know what I mean? But I remember having to burn shoes in the fire to keep us warm in the gaff, you know what I mean, because it was that cold.
Right.
But then moved to Bluebell when we were, about 5, I'd say. I'm a bit off with my dates and all, but around 5 years of age, moved to Bluebell. My dad would have been still a heavy drinker at the time, and going through shite, I'd say. My ma did, with 3 boys at the time.
You've no sisters, it's just the 3 boys?
No, I have one sister, Brenda, but she wouldn't have been born then. She was born in Ballia. So in Bluebell, we would have had to treat me, and my 2 brothers were there. And my dad was obviously, I have memories of my dad fucking fighting, you know, throwing him out of the gaff, over the gargle, then banging on the door. And then, I don't think there was ever mad violence, but I always remember being scared of the fucking fighting, you know.
Yeah, the way you remember all them things.
Men as well, years ago, they would be quite aggressive and loud,
even
like especially during drink.
That was all known really years ago. Remember they're drinking and they're...
Like, you never crossed your father, especially years ago, like as well. Like, so whether he didn't actually hit or not, it was still like a violence. You were
frightened, bollocks, you know what I mean, because of the violent side of it. But and yeah, so that was probably, I remember he got clean as well for my dad, and that's what we were delighted with. When he was an alcoholic for years, which them years were kind of a bit shit. We used to get brought to the pub on a Sunday. Yeah. You know what I mean? My dad would take, I'll bring the kids out. You end up in the pub eating bleeding crisps and drinking 7-Up all day.
But I remember that years ago when I remember
that was
like
the
that
norm.
Party at childhood.
That was just because our outlet was like the gargle.
Still likes them, only messing that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, then from there, what was it? Bluebell were not a bad few years in our lives because my dad was at the getting clean. I remember him going to NA, stuff like that. So he was at the getting his act together. And he brought us to Manchester and all, which were great bleeding memories. Because we had, like I said, we'd fucking literally nothing. Yeah. Not a pot to piss in. And going to Manchester was a massive, that'd be like a kid going on holidays for the first time. Yeah. So that was lovely memories we had of him. And I think Bluebell, what else do I remember about Bluebell? My first little brush with crime, I suppose, happened in Bluebell. We used to watch all the older lads on the weekend rob the Richie Mills factory. And
my ma used to walk there, I bet you.
Yeah, we probably robbed your poor bleeding mother. But Richie Mills was like a factory just on the canal. We lived in Bluebell Flats, then you had the canal. And then all the older lads used to rob it. When they were coming out with their stuff, they used to hide all their sweets, run back in, but then all the uncles used to rob their sweets on them.
Oh, so they'd rob them.
Yeah, so they gave us the job of minding their sweets while they were running back in and out. And we ended up getting boxes of sweets off them at the end. And But that was basically, I think, the first time I ever remember being involved in something that I knew it wasn't right.
Yeah.
You know, it was a little bit dodgy. Then hiding the sweets from me ma, because my ma was real strict with us.
Are they the little white sweets?
Yeah, the little roundy, the Richie
yeah.
Mills. You'd be bleeding sick the next day in school after fucking eating 3 packets of the fucking things. But where was I going with that one?
You were saying your ma would be real strict with
yeah, my ma was like, because she came from a fairly decent enough background, you know what I mean? And mother and father were strict enough, they were. My granddad was very strict. And but my ma wouldn't let us step out of line, like, you know what I mean? It was everything fucking above board. She done her best to us as well, but we, like we said, we seen other people with stuff.
And you wanted it then.
Like, and even going to school, we'd fuck all pocket money.
Yeah.
We used to get 10pence going to school, and that was probably to buy a bleeding, I think if I'm not mistaken, a bread roll. You'd be lucky if you just got a bread roll with butter on it. If you got a packet of crisps, it was a bonus.
Yeah.
You know, but so we had to hide everything from your ma. Like, even when we robbed the sweets, if she found the sweets, she'd bait the head off you for finding them, you know. So that was the first little brush of crime, and then we ended up getting a house in Bluebell, which was brilliant.
Ballyfermot,
not Bluebell. Yeah, we moved from Bluebell up to Ballier. We got a big gaff, in Cherry Orchard, this beautiful new sprawling estate, fucking in Ballier. Little did we know what we were moving into.
Is that still the house that you're in now?
Yeah, there would be bars here now. So, but I always remember my ma giving out over the sides of the back garden, because we lived in a flat. She couldn't look after the back, big huge garden. But that was one of the arguments I vaguely remember. My ma and dad having, what are we going to do to look after the garden?
Because she actually had to look after
she had the big back garden.
And as well, you'd always have grass and you would have had to always kind of mow it.
So all the work involved probably, but for us it was bleeding deadly. We moved up, you had all the backers up in Cherry Orchard. None of the new houses at Gallenstown would have been built.
It was just fields.
Yeah, there was no Cherry Orchard Community Centre, the Equine, none of them was all there. So we used to rob the orchards going back in the day. And I always remember the farmer used to be right up at the prison now. He lived, but he used to shoot us with bleeding salt in a shotgun. I always lucky enough I never got shot by it, because whoever you're caught robbing the orchard, you'd hear him coming out, but he'd chase people. But once or twice the lads got shot, he used to put salt into pellets, seemingly, fill them up and shoot them up with the bleeding salt
my
guns.
God. Is that up where like Gingers?
Yeah, exactly there. That's where the name, like, it's all Weefield Prison. Where Weefield Prison is now, that was all the backlands. That was all just orchards. And we used to just go up there in the summer and rob bleeding, cooking apples, bring them home, and I need to cook or whatever, you know. But Cherry Orchard, that was a bit of a mad time, because it was then that me dad took a heart attack, and I always remember it. We were only young at the time. I'm trying to think what age you were, probably 6 or 7 around. Could be a bit off with my ages. Sorry?
Was your dad still clean?
Yeah, he was 2 years clean, and he was after having a minor heart attack. So I always remember coming home from school one day and everyone was in the bleeding gaff, and obviously he was after having the heart attack. And I think he was released from hospital, and then 2 or 3 weeks later. But I always remember that time when he was in hospital, the 3 of us being in there and him on his deathbed basically, and holding our hands, you know what I mean, and just saying, look after your ma. He knew he was dying, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
All the years of drinking and smoking, I suppose, alcoholism was taking its toll on him. But I always remember him holding our hands and saying, look after each other and look after your ma.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's one thing that always stood to me. And even going forward now, you know, around with what I'm into now with my fitness and everything else, that memory still stands with me, that there's so many kids out there, their fathers are not kind of looking after themselves.
Yeah.
And I'm a late starter too. Like, I was fucking on drugs for years and drug abuse, but I'm trying my best now to turn it around with fitness and health, and to help other people, you know. But
and one of the things I'd actually always say is, not even only your Instagram, but even your daughters and the family, because obviously you will be local, but you are such a tight family.
Yeah,
aren't you? Like, and you are always in your ma's house and the Sunday dinners and stuff. So
it's a mad calf on a Sunday.
He's obviously like took on what your dad said, and obviously
like, don't get me wrong, but like any family, like, there's loads of fucking arguments and falling outs and everything else.
They're close as well. That's just what happens.
It's just part of it, you know. But like, you know, we all have our ups and downs, but definitely it helped us going forward. You know what I mean? Around like just being there for one another, for me and my 2 brothers as well, going forward. But the fact that we had nothing, that my dad was at the dying. Now, we was giving her a few bob and stuff for the years he was clean, obviously, and life was a bit better then. But then it was just straight back to me man not having a fucking penny.
Yeah,
not being on our own, having to look after 3 boys, and us being like 7, 8 and 9 at the time.
Yeah.
We would have needed a lot, you know what I mean, between school, clothes, schooling and all. I always remember even like having to go to St. Vincent de Paul for second-hand clothes, and you know what I mean. So it was hard times for me ma, you know what I mean. And it was I always remember that when she used to come in with her shopping, and this is another memory that always comes to mind because of the poverty side of it. We used to get a cornflake box. When she used to get shopping, she'd get what she'd barely need.
Yeah.
So you'd have bread, the butter, probably milk, cornflakes for breakfast, and that'd be it. And then daily she'd be buying food, coming in, cooking a stew or doing whatever it was. But I always remember us fighting over the cornflake box because the holes in our shoes going to school. We used to cut the cornflake box to put in the inserts of our shoes.
Oh my
God. That's going back fucking years, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But because the coals used to go up through the hole in your shoe, you'd have to fucking put cardboard in it. So if you didn't get it in school or something like that to fill it, you used to rub the cardboard off the cornflake box.
But that just goes to show like that how hard it was back then.
Yeah, like, and to be fair, it was, I always say to people, you're a product of your environment, right?
Yeah.
I'm ashamed of a lot of the stuff I done going back for years. But looking back on it, I was surviving. I was a kid with two other brothers that was barely had food on our table. And this was genuine. Like, it was no mess where we had to come in from school and eat cornflakes because my ma hadn't come home with our work money. Do you know what I mean? Like a few bob. So for me, I always trying to
survive, like literally.
Yeah, and that's where we got into fucking selling drugs and getting into crime and robbing. And if I seen, like, I remember being in primary school and having to rob sandwiches. You know what I mean? Like me and my little brother.
Yeah.
We'd be in the queue with 10 cent and we'd look for whatever was furthest away from the counter for it to get the 10 cent with, so we'd be able to rob whatever was nearest to the counter. And that was bread. Like, we used to see the bread rolls at the side of the counter and we'd say, can we have 10 penny jellies, love? And we knew the jellies were over in the corner. She'd turn her back. We'd have to rob 2 bread rolls.
Well, like, it is mad because, like, do you know what? Like, years ago, I think a lot of people in Ballyfermot and around the area did feel like that. Like, my dad would often tell me, like, that you'd have to do that. It's just what you had to do. And, like, that was survival.
And I'm looking at you two, right, and thinking, like, as a young girls, you know what I mean? I'd had to have a fairly all right upbringing, and my daughter'd be the same, and so would my brother's daughters and all, and looking at it, and I'm thinking, they don't realise how bad we had it.
Yeah.
And my daughter, Courtney's a fucker for joking and slagging. Remember you had to cut cornflake boxes up for your shoes? You know what I mean? Poor me. And I sit there saying, you don't know how well you have it. You know what I mean? But like I said to you at the start as well, we were having a conversation, it makes you who you are. Yeah. You know what I mean? And your upbringing is part of it. There's nothing you can do about it. You got to embrace it and make the best of it. But like I said, I think poverty for me and the surroundings of Cherry Orchard is what caused me to get involved in crime and brought me down a horrible, dirty hellhole that I ended up in, you know, going forward, like, so.
So what then, what ended up happening then? Because you did say you touched on, like, drugs, so how young were you then when you...
Yeah, fucking hell, we were, like, so we would be robbing to survive. We were robbing to survive when we were 10, 12, because I always remember going to the town basically to rob. Me and my mate Jeff Hendricks. We used to get up out of bed, get dressed.
And that was our mission for the day.
Yeah, it was to go into town and see what we could rob. You know what I mean? To get money for ourselves. And if you got the money for a pair of runners, you were fucking lit. Yeah. You know, because like for me, I used to wear Sizzlers. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but basically a $5 in pennies.
I was going to say how much you know, runners were like.
And they were what you had. And for a young lad growing up in Cherry Orchard as a teenager, and you were seeing other lads going around with nice runners and nice shoes, it's degrading for you. Yeah. Like you're a young teenager you're growing into a man. You're trying to attract girls. You're trying to fucking just become a man, I suppose. Yeah. And then there's that the shame that's attached to not having money and not having the fucking pair of jocks or a pair of shoes. Yeah. So for me, I think that's where I remember robbing for the first time and going, bang, look, we can make our own living. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you can have that then.
And I can have these riches that my ma can't provide. And she'd have caught, she'd have fucking
But that's what I was going to say. So like, if you got a pair of runners, would you have to hide them then for your
We used to get over the back wall and hide them in the back garden. Like when we leave the gaff, we'd be in our Sizzlers and our shit t-shirts and jeans. All right, man, we're going out. No bother, see you later. So we used to have a little shed out the back. We go around the back of the shed, pull the bag from under the shed.
And all that good stuff
we put the good gear on. Yeah. Because we were too ashamed to go out into, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you were embarrassed as it's,
like, you know how fucking nasty teenagers can be.
Yeah, even now.
So if I'm walking out into a load of teenage little bastards, I want to at least look all right, you know? Yeah. So for me, that was a big part. And I always remember the shame and everything else attached to the poverty side of living in Cherry Orchard and for being, you know, like coming from a deprived background or whatever you want to call it. So for me, it was just pure survival and not wanting to feel inadequate. Yeah. And I wanted to feel like...
You wanted to prove yourself as
I wanted to feel the same as what others had. You know what I mean? Although our parents couldn't provide it and my ma couldn't, at least if I could, I fucking was. And we did it. We went out and we done whatever it took.
Yeah. Do you know what? And then some people be like, oh, robbing is wrong. But when you hear from that side and that you literally had nothing and you literally needed to get like bread or you needed to eat, it's a completely different scenario. Do you know what I mean? Like,
to be fair, and this is, I know I can go into it and tell you how bad things were, but we used to get up in the morning, me and Jeff, we used to go rob milk and rolls outside the shops that were getting delivered to the shops. Yeah. Because now, Jeff, don't get me wrong, like I think my family was probably a little bit poorer than most of my mates that were around, but they were all similar. Yeah, so we used to all just meet and we'd be going out to rob your breakfast, like, you know what I mean? And that's it, just spiraled down from there. And I'm not saying it's right, but when you're put in a situation where you have to survive, and I see it every day up in Cherry Orchard still to this day, there's kids up there that don't have very much, like that poor.
That's what I was saying. It's all kind of is still the same for people now, even if like
everything
if you have
like
all
has to
them
be
extra
Canada
bits
Goose
now,
and all
yeah,
now,
I
like
know,
it's actually ridiculous.
I feel sorry for the fucking mother.
I know.
That has 3 teenage boys or something growing up.
That's why I keep hoping, like, when I cart out in about 10 years, like, things get easier. Like, because, like, I'm like, oh, fuck off. Like, his runners now, his feet are that size, that €85. And that's what Annie does be telling me, fuck off. Like, he's out on the streets now. His runners have holes in them after 2 weeks.
Right.
So I actually have stopped, like, I bought, like, a few Duns for out on the street. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But he's not at a stage where he cares. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't care now. But I'm like, there is going to be a stage when he's going to school and people are checking. Like, I've girls that come in and get their eyebrows done, and they're telling me that people are checking their tags in school.
To see if they're real.
To see if they're real.
Oh, is
Like,
it?
that's disgraceful.
I thought you were
feel.
going to say for kids robbing other people's
No,
kids'
but like, say
jackets,
if a
just don't
jacket is
have them.
€800
They're
and they're
slagging
paying,
them, saying it's fake and all
yeah,
that.
it's fake, but that's, the mass are still paying €200 for a fake one, and they're scanning the codes to see if they're real or fake, and then they're embarrassing
know
them.
you could do that.
Do you know what I mean? Now, obviously, yours is different. Like, you just want shoes on your feet. Do you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
Whereas
yeah,
they're
yeah.
obviously
That's like the 2024 version of just wanting shoes on your feet. It's just wanting a goose
Yeah, I
jacket.
think it is. It kind of would be a similar, only for
Yeah.
on a different scale, where a kid going out with a shit jacket on
Completely
and
two
someone.
different things.
yeah, you still
And
have a
then
jacket.
I know for a fact what way the teenagers are. Teenagers are bastards.
And
And like,
nasty,
nothing
yeah.
against them, but I mean, like the way
Nothing
their
against
their poor brains are only developing.
Yeah.
And then they're trying to figure out everything, but they're nasty as fuck to each other.
Yeah.
Like, and that's one of the reasons why I either not wanting to go out and stand on a street corner with
Yeah.
holes in my shoes or shitty fucking clothes on compared
Yeah.
to other people around me. So there's a lot to be said around your environment and survival.
And like
you know
you
what
said
I mean?
as well, being a male in Cherry Orchard as well.
Yeah,
You kind of,
exactly.
I don't mean to be
Very
bad,
hard
but
to
like
get caught
alpha
up in it.
male, you nearly kind of want to be
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, you want to be,
don't you?
yeah, exactly, and that's
Yeah.
it's part of human nature. It's part
Yeah.
of like humanity. Like, as you're growing up as a teenager, you want to transition into a man, but you want to be a strong man. You want to be an
Yeah.
attractive man, whatever it is, for to attract the opposite sex and to move on in life.
Yeah.
But when you're in a position where you're fucking left, where you have no clothes, you know what I mean? You're really struggling regards your poverty.
Thank
and all.
God you had spare clothes today.
Yeah, I did. We had a little bit of an issue, hadn't we? We tell them what
No
happened.
clothes, thank God I had spare clothes. So
Ken was coming in today and a board shit all over his
Right down the
top.
front of each
You're
other.
right on his top.
Yeah, and I had it on when I came in. I went home. I wasn't far from the house when I walked out. I was in the car and looked in the mirror and I noticed it. So
Oh,
I
you
turned
didn't even
back.
know the board shit in your
No,
shoulder?
I didn't notice it straight away. It was only when I looked in the mirror, and so I turned back and grabbed this t-shirt on the way. But it was a bit of luck.
He was going to leave it on, but then he was like, in case we don't get to tell the story.
Yeah.
It just looked like
So
shit on his
it looked
shoulder.
like-
So when you said about clothes, I was like, this is the perfect time to tell about everyone.
If you looking at the start of the podcast, saying, look at this fuck out the blade.
And do you know what? I
shitty
looked
top.
purple as well when they came.
Yeah.
I actually thought that as well.
Yeah.
I'm just more worried the stain comes out now.
I mean, we keep getting bleeding distracted. I know that's kind of what happens.
Back to your
That's
story.
good.
So you're telling us
Yeah.
about your story. You're in Ballyfermot, and then your dad died, and you were out and you were robbing and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So what happened then after that? What was the next stage of your life? What was?
Obviously experimenting with drugs, because like for me it was a kind of an escape as well.
So what age were you at the search?
My memory's fucking shy. So roughly the 90s. So what would have been about 15, right? Where
Right,
I
that's
was,
still very young.
I'm going to say the 90s now, because that's when I was like fully blown, taking everything. You know what I
Right,
mean?
okay.
So stepping back, I think if I can remember right, I tried heroin for the first time when I was about bleeding 12 or 13.
That is mad, yeah.
Yeah, it's
When
But
I
if you
done-
think of a 12 and a 14-year-old now,
They're like a fucking
Babies,
baby.
yeah.
Do you know? And that shocks the life out of me when I think of it. But I remember trying it for the first time because we were selling bits of hash on the corner, and then some obviously heroin and all was getting mentioned in the scene.
well, isn't this the thing years ago? Heroin obviously wasn't known how bad it
Yeah,
was.
no
It
one
was only
knew
a
how
new
bad it
drug,
was,
wasn't
yeah.
it? And people were
Yeah.
only trying it.
Yeah, back then I think it hit big time in the 80s.
Right.
Is when it hit, but it was there wasn't massive numbers on it. So for us to hear about, say, in Ballyfermot and all, it was always in Dolphins Bar, the inner city,
Right.
is where it was mainly, the main attraction for heroin was. But then it sprawled out when the 90s kicked in. The rave scene happened, and this
Yeah.
is where we all fucked up, right? Because we are all hearing about this drug.
Yeah, and you're
heroin's
thinking
great.
about a new drug or a bit of a buzz kind of
Yeah,
thing.
so
Right.
ecstasy come on the scene. This before, I think I tried heroin before, but then when ecstasy came on the scene,
You were
we just,
using that to come down off, were you?
yeah, that's where
I
we
heard
ended
that
up.
as well.
We ended
Right.
up fucking up because I think I tried heroin in the Lawns Park. I always remember my very first smoke, and it was under a bleeding jacket. It was windy. We were trying to keep the bleeding wind from the lighter. And I remember smoking it then and nearly falling asleep in the park, waking up thinking, fuck, that was bleeding mental, like, you know, just floating off into the atmosphere or whatever. And basically I just put asleep, you know what I mean? That's all you're doing when you take heroin, you're just fucking falling asleep.
I
It's
thought it was like a good buzz. I thought you got like brought to a different. So like
Do
when
you
you're
know
not
what?
chasing the like, was it not like a high?
of course it was. it's a weird one when someone asks you about heroin, right? Because you do say to they'd say to you, what was it like? How does it feel? And I remember someone explaining it before. Imagine someone having a big mohawk? No. What's that big full blanket's called? Imagine having a hot blanket and getting wrapped in a hot blanket and just levitating off the ground as if you were floating.
So that's the way it feels.
That's the way it feels. Right. That's when someone explained that on a podcast I heard before. He goes, just like getting wrapped. But he explained differently. He's like getting wrapped in a warm blanket by our granny and you start floating off.
Sounds fucking lovely.
and floating off. And look at
obviously that was
it's
the
obviously
high.
it's an amazing buzz because you just want to go back to it and you want
and that's
but
how
then
you're
before you
tasting
know it. Before, I always remember hearing this thing, if you smoke it once, you're all right for trying it once. And then I thought, I'll try it once. If you smoke it more than 3 times, you're an addict. That's right. So I always remember smoking it for the 3rd time thinking, I'm fucked now, I may as well stay on it.
Yeah.
But the rave scene is where the spiral started for me because we started getting into going out on the weekends. The rave scene was massive. It only hit Ireland. There was people travelling from Belfast coming down on bus loads into the raves, bringing ecstasy and all.
Yeah.
And we hadn't heard of it. So then taking ecstasy and being out of the head for hours. The come down, when you were coming down off ecstasy, meant to be a little bit shit.
Yeah.
So they said, if you smoke heroin coming down off, it'll make it easier to come down.
Right.
So that's where things just went fucking belly up for me. Got strung out to death, out every weekend, smoking gear most days then. I would have been only 14, 15, hiding it well.
Okay.
And a lot of people never even knew I was on drugs because I always kind of kept myself clean. Still done a little bit of training in between, and I was an addict at the same time.
Right.
And but after that, then I knew I was fucked. You know what I mean? I was waking up with cold turkey then, and then you're waking up miserable. And years went by where I knew I was a fucking junkie.
So this was going on for years, like, was it?
Oh yeah, like I hit it great.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
It went from the age of 15 till I was 30 when I first stopped smoking gear and all. You know what I mean? So 15, and that's why I hit it for donkeys years. People never.
I didn't realise you were that old stopping.
No one did because I used to. I kind of hit it well, and I used to make I was like what you call it, a functioning addict, where I was still working,
you still went to work,
still going to work, still doing
There's
things.
loads of people like that now, though, and you couldn't.
But I knew I was. I used to look in the morning. No, everyone does it when you walk up and you're looking in the mirror, blah blah blah. Well, my self talk was a fucking junkie. You know what I mean? And I used to look in the mirror and say that to myself. One was because I was kind of wanting to put myself down, the person I was in the mirror, to the person I knew I could be or I wanted to be. So I used to say that, and hopefully, and it did work, I suppose, because I always felt ashamed.
Yeah, it was an ashamed feeling. Like,
it was horrible, like, you know what I mean? A really rotten feeling. And like you'd walk out and some of my mates started palling around, but probably didn't know I was on it. A lot of them would have known, but some that didn't, we called them other fellas junkies.
Or they'd be wondering and all, like,
and you'd be going down the road saying, look at them junkies, but under all, I knew I was one, so.
Yeah. And did your mama kind of know or have an idea?
I'd say she probably thought we were smoking weed because we used to smoke years ago. And so if I only had the joint, and you'd blow it off as being that. You know what I mean?
You were out on the weekend and you were probably messing with you.
You were probably just hung over. But she always knew I'd say in her heart. She knows her fucking kids when they're on, when they're not, when they're bright and they're not bright. You know what I mean?
She was probably only learning. It's not as if she was ever in that position.
Yeah,
before
she
to
wouldn't have known anything about drugs back then.
Heroin, like, do you know what I mean? So she probably thought the weed was actually just doing that to you. So she was only learning herself.
Yeah, so no, she wouldn't have known about it very much, my ma. I'm sure she probably had an inklings, you know what I mean? But things just start spiraling out of control. Got always needed to have money on hand because of your drug addiction. So then I started getting into fucking all sorts, like every type of robbing that there was. If someone was robbing stuff out of factories, I'd be buying and selling it on, just to make a few bob.
Yeah.
But start getting into more serious stuff. Fucking like loads of stuff that I wouldn't even talk about now. You know what I mean? Because I wouldn't incriminate myself.
Yeah.
But basically got caught up in gangs. And at the time it was the Red Wall gang. They were the big gang in Cherry Orchard at the time, but got caught up in them. We were the young lads of the group. And as years went on, like there was fucking rob cars. Then we started getting into that. And then we were supplying fellas who were doing robberies with rob cars and basically.
So you got into a lot of criminal stuff, did you? Because when
I
I was obviously looking last night and I was looking at you doing another podcast, I literally just thought it was the one crime we got involved with.
Yeah, see, do you know what? I could be
write
sitting here all day and
Yeah.
talk about stories and about certain things.
But that obviously was your lifestyle though that you had previously. Like.
And the maddest thing is, like, no one knew about it.
Yeah.
Because I was the quiet one out of the family. I held down the job and all.
Yeah.
And
you were the best at hiding it.
I was kind of, I think, and you know what I think deep down inside, it was from me ma. Because I always remember the three of us were fucking mental cases, you know what I mean, the brothers. And I always remember saying, if I ain't no try have a job for, at least you can say, well, one of them was doing it already or whatever. You know what I mean? But no, it was great. Like, I'm at the losing my trail of thought where I was going with that.
Sorry, you were saying that you were doing...
But
you were
getting
into
involved
doing
in
everything,
crime,
and you were with a gang and all of that stage then.
And I used to always make sure I never hung around corners. I was a shrewd little fucker, like, you know,
but
not
you know what,
wanting to be
that's nearly
seen.
smart. I nearly like smart.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because
No,
you're
it
trying
is.
not to let people know.
Yeah.
And people wouldn't know it was you. They were thinking about like the Red Wall Gang or something. They probably weren't
That's
putting
it.
you as...
Yeah, so
one of
for
the
us, we
people.
were like the little gophers of the Red Wall Gang. And it was mental times, because I remember the riots of back in the 90s, where the police were giving us a terrible abuse. They were like, obviously we were cunts in the area, so the police were pulling us over, but they were abusing us as well, you know, really beating you up and doing all sorts. So got to the stage where we were having just wars against them. And
Against the police, like?
Against the police, yeah.
Right.
So we end up ambushing them. Massive fucking Halloween night. Halloween was known in Cherry Orchard for all the
it's
robbed
still
cars and
known.
all. Still is today. So we ended up ambushing the police. We got a robbed car. We brought it down to the main road, drove it around. Once the police sussed us, then we brought them into Cherry Orchard. So we had all the lads waiting up in Cherry Orchard at the time.
This actually awesome.
So the bleeding police came up, tried to chase us. We took a bit of a chase around. Then we went around the roundabout a few times, but then their car ended up getting rammed. Young fellas came from everywhere outside, smashing the police car up. Then we waited for all the riot squad to come up. So as the riot squad come up, we had all these jokes made for throwing out the punch of the cars or the tyres. We just wanted to hurt the police because they were hurting us. But looking back on it now, it was fucking mental, mad to think of like what we got up to. We had a stage, we planned it for days.
It's like them
It's
little
like that
movies,
now. I
like-
went to
Yeah.
Balliol and Paddy's Day before, like literally, like going back, like, well, obviously not that long ago and all. I remember at the end of the day being like to the girls, I had slices in my knees and all. I can't even remember what happened, but more as well. Please, I can remember.
Yeah, I feel like it's just in Cherry Orchard.
It was just crazy. We just wanted to ambush them. And look, there was a young lad got smacked with a petrol bomb that night, Martin
Jesus.
Blackburn.
Oh,
like
I do
he's
know
a
Martin.
grown family man now, you know what I mean?
he's
But
my
still,
age, actually, yeah.
no, Martin, lovely kid, fucking sound. But that was one of the big things that we all regretted from
God,
after that
yeah.
happened.
I do remember,
There was a petrol bomb hit a police car and it bounced off and hit him. He was only a kid, about 5 or 6
I
at the
actually
time.
thought that was his house. I didn't realise it. So I actually thought it was his house now.
No,
actually
it was an actual petrol bomb. We seen it
Martin's a
happening.
lovely fella.
I remember
God.
seeing the police car was parked and the kids were all at the side of it and the petrol bomb just came out of the crowd, hit the side of the arch of the police window and then splashed all them.
Oh my God.
But it got him the most seemingly, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that was a horrible thing to happen and that's one
And
of the
then you
biggest
feel
And
that
regrets.
as well,
yeah.
you would have been only young, I'd say, when that
We
happened.
were only kids, like
Yeah,
we
that's
were
a horrible
still,
thing
I'd
to
say,
witness.
like I said I was 15 when all this was going on. And mad stuff, but got caught up in it all, but hated where I was at.
Yeah.
Always remember waking up, cold turkey, being sick, and then hating where I was at being an addict, because for me, I always thought I was strong-minded. I was really, you know, like, probably the strongest fucking minded out of the family. You know, like that type of thing. I was a bit more cleverer than everyone else, but I wasn't. I was fucking, got caught up in it all, and it made me feel so ashamed. So every day for me was like a fucking hellhole I was living in.
Yeah.
Held it well, made sure I was clean going out in the mornings, but still I was going out acting the bollocks, getting involved in criminality, drug
So
dealing
is this
and
when you
all
got
sorts.
clean? Are you saying you got clean and you were still kind of messing with criminal?
No, what happened was I was still out and tied up in it all.
Right.
And I was 18 at the time, and I remember there was these lads who we were giving cars to at the time, and they were robbing the country blind, bank robberies, jewellers, jewellery shops, fucking big stuff.
Right.
And a fella one of the lads didn't turn up for the robbery, so he came to my ma's. I was at to giving them the car the night before or something like that.
Yeah.
And he came to us the night before, such and such is not to turn up, do you want to come on the robbery with us? So me thinking, right, good chance here to get a few bob, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? So I
yeah.
decided to go on it. And these lads had got great big robberies before that, so I was
So you knew
thinking,
you were doing well.
yeah, they were doing well.
Not this time.
I must have brought them a bit of bad luck.
Oh,
we ended
no
up,
way.
we ended up getting to the bank. The money was getting lodged. Took the money from the person outside the bank, back into the car, took a chase, but ended up getting caught in traffic in the middle of town. The police blocked off the canals down at Portobello Bridge on each side, and we tried to drive up it, but the traffic got too bad.
Yeah.
So we ended up jumping out, diving into the canal. Something like a fucking movie. Swimming across the canal, and then just went on our toes. So the police had to run around the blocks. I don't know if any of them swam after us. I think a copper actually swam after us. And a couple of minutes had passed, we were hiding. There was no helicopters at the time, but we could hear all the police and the commotion. And I was hidden in the shed, but the door got booted in, going, put to my head, dragged out. And the copper said, he goes, what made you think you were getting away? He said, we just followed the footprints of the way.
The wet
The
footprint.
wet footprints. You're like a dopey.
Oh, is that only you in the shed?
Yeah, no, the whole lot of us got caught.
right.
But we were all had to go in different ways.
Yeah. Right.
And obviously they
Oh,
were
you
at the
just
following the
followed your
fucking, my
footprints.
fucking footprints of
That's
the wet
actually-
marks.
That is really-
Not even thinking, you know,
Yeah,
people had to get away. But ended up getting locked up then.
What age were you, sorry, then, at this stage? What age were you when you got locked
18,
up?
17 I was when I got nicked. So this
your first time getting locked up
yourself? Yeah, first ever time getting, well, not getting nicked. I'd got nicked in the past between different crimes and all. And first time getting locked up, so straight away into custody for 2 weeks and ended up in St. Patrick's Institution.
Yeah, because Pat's would have been on back then.
Yeah, that was on back then. So
that's not still a thing, isn't it?
No, they closed it down. I think, yeah, it's a different unit. I don't know what they have in that.
They have a protection unit, as far as I know, now in St. Pat's.
Yeah, because I know Alberstown is where they keep all the young lads now.
I wasn't sure if there was a young lad.
Yeah, young offenders institution.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So were you only in Pat's for 2 weeks then, or?
Yeah. So what happened was I got 2 weeks. 2 weeks custody in there, and Pat's, for anyone who knew Pat's back in the day, was just full of teenagers who were trying to show off,
was in it years ago,
who wanted to show, to make a name for themselves, basically, and they were bastards, like they were pure.
Everyone's trying to make it and be top dog.
But talking about bullying to the highest order, you know what I mean, making kids feel like shit that are going in there. So I was lucky that I knew one or two in there because of the stuff going on in Cherry Orchard, being involved in crime and all. I knew lads who were in there. So I was very lucky in that sense that when I went in, I felt the tension, but I felt how fucking scared I was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Being in a place that these are teenagers now, some of them big cunts that want to make a name. So I was lucky. I got to know knew one or two of the lads, so I was a bit all right in the little group that I was with. But the scariest part was 2 weeks into the fucking custody. Went up to court, but 2 weeks, got put back into the custody, and then I got knocked on the door. I was at the turning 18. Yeah. So officially I had to go to Mountjoy, and that was fucking. I remember my stomach dropping, you know, when he told me, come on, you're going to Mountjoy. Yeah. Ended up going into Mountjoy, and I was still strung out at the time. I think I probably hadn't got much drugs in St. Pat's. I would have went through the rattles, but when I got to Mountjoy,
you were able to get
there was loads of bleeding drugs there, you know what I mean? And my friends were in there, they were selling and stuff, so my drug addiction spiraled out of control in there, where I was just on it every day, start selling it in the prison.
Right,
in order to maintain the
I think addiction. It's still like that even now for people. Like
I think
prison,
the joy
like they're
is
not on
like
drugs
the
and you go into the joint and they come out on drugs. Nearly 80% of them are probably more.
It's an escape as well. Like when you're in prison, it's a fucking hellhole.
Like my brother now is in there now, and like that, he only has certain amounts of hours he's allowed out in the day. Yeah. He's trying to keep himself busy. Like even now when he's ringing us, he's like, "Is there anything on the telly? Can you check the teletext?" Because remember years ago you used to have the teletext, and you'd be able to check what's on and all. He can't check it. He can't check it. He can't schedule. But come here, either way he's in the cell anyway, so he's just waiting whatever's coming on. Yeah. But like that as well. Mentally his head is gone. When he was in there, he was in Pat, and he was in there years ago, but now he's older, he's nearly 30, he's 2 kids, he knows now that this is not what he wants. Do you know what I mean? Whereas when he was in there years ago, he was only 18 to 21. He wanted to be top dog.
You think it's a badge of honour?
Yeah.
I remember getting out thinking it was the business where everyone knows about being locked up now.
No,
which is mental.
Now he's not thinking like that at all. Like he has a little bit of a head on his shoulders now, and he's saying to himself, I don't want to come back in here. But I'm hoping, like for the first time ever, I was only telling someone yesterday, he talked about doing his leaving.
Deadly.
Never ever have heard Ross saying that.
They either makes or breaks you, don't they?
Yeah.
But I think when you get to an age and when you have something you want to come out for as well, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? No. Sorry, I just like cross-checked you.
No, you're all right. But me at Mountjoy, so that was bleeding, that was mental. But got to learn fucking more about crime than anything else in there. You know what I mean? How to not get caught. So I got out of prison. I was lucky enough that the lads who I was nicked with said to me in prison, just look, when you go up, tell them that we threatened you to go, that you owed us a few bob, because I was only 18, they were 25, 26. And fair play to Larry, the fellow who was nicked with, he said it to me, tell them we threatened you to go. Right. So when I went to court and I said that, the judge says, look, we give him a chance. I got 6 months custody in Mountjoy, and the judge wanted to give me a little taste of prison. Came back 6 months later, he asked me how it was. I told him it was horrendous. I had my local priest coming up giving me character references and all. So I got a 5 year suspended sentence on that.
Right. So you never went back in then?
No, never went back in. I was delighted. I don't know if we became more shrewder or fucking
smarter with being
after coming out of prison. But I was lucky I didn't get caught. But fast forward a couple of years and everything was falling apart on me. You know what I mean? My relationship was falling apart. I was didn't want to go on, you know what I mean? I was strung out to bits, still involved in loads of crime and all sorts. And I just thought, if this is the existence of life, I don't want that. You know, every day of the week, like a hamster wheel going around. And a couple of years went past, I would have been, 25, 26, still going mad into the rave scene and the gang scene and messing around. Lucky not to get caught with that. But my girlfriend got pregnant. Say I was coming up to me, heading out for me 30s, I'd say. She got pregnant. And things weren't great between us in any way. It was bleeding turmoil. So for the sake of the baby, we'd stayed together.
Right.
I never forget it. I think the day my daughter Connie was born, I went into the kiln and I was obviously would have been stoned probably, you know what I mean, still on drugs at the time. But the midwife, when Courtney was born, the midwife told me to open me short. She says, unbutton your short, I want to put the baby's skin on you, you know what I mean? And I always remember touching her, putting her to my skin, blanket getting wrapped around me, and just feeling a shiver from the bottom of my feet right up through my spine. You know, that love and that fucking, just the emotions that you feel when you have a baby in your arms, you know what I mean? And for me, it was just, I always remember the saying what was in my head was, I don't want this baby growing up with an addict as a father. You know, thinking back to my own upbringing and me dad not being in the right state of mind growing up for us, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it was then that I knew it. I was getting clean. You know what I mean? I always said to myself, that was it. That's the turning point.
So you definitely think Courtney was the reason that you got clean?
Without a doubt. If she hadn't been born, I wouldn't be here today.
Right,
she'd slag me over it now.
No, but it's not like that's so strong-minded though. There's not actually many people like
that have changed that life.
Actually have that insight to even go and do that now. It is inside, like obviously you're a strong person.
Yeah, no, it definitely did. The shoot, like the emotions I felt on the day was mad. And the last 2 or 3 times I talked about it, I used to cry because it still holds a lot of emotion for me.
Yeah, every time you think about it,
brings you back to that memory and how you felt in the moment as well. Like it's all bringing up old memories and feelings.
And just thinking to myself, here's a little human being
that's relying on you.
That's relying on me and on a mother, obviously. You know what I mean? And I'm in no state to look after this child.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, I'm a fucking addict here, struggling addict with a newborn baby in my arms. And I always remember walking out of the kiln with that fucking thing, I'm not going near drugs again. So I went down. You were
nearly near 30 at this stage. You were old enough then as well, right?
Yeah. Like you weren't
I'm
a little bit off with my ages, or with me dates and all. But yeah, I was 30 when Courtney was born, so I would have been. Obviously, I was 30.
She's 20 now anyway, is she?
Well, she's 24. She was 2000, Courtney was born. Am I getting the dates right?
No, he's definitely wrong, isn't he? If you said you're nearly 50.
You were about 26.
So, right, I'm 50 in January.
So you were probably 25, 26.
26 and 24 is 50.
Yeah. So you're in your late 20s probably.
Late 20s, let's
yeah, let's
say.
Yeah, sorry, that's what it was, late 20s. But Courtney, that was the turning point for me. And I remember leaving the hospital and going and buying a bottle of methadone. Right. And then I didn't take drugs that night, took methadone. It's fucking very similar, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, but you can wean yourself off it.
Yeah, so I started using that as to detox myself. Was still getting caught up in all the madness of crime and everything else, and that went on for a good while. Like Courtney was still young. Me and our ma then went through a massive breakup, you know, where we broke up, went through mad turmoil, fucking had to leave the house that we were living in. I went back to my ma's, she went back to her ma's, and I think it was then when I said to myself, right, I have to give this a real good shot at it, you know what I mean, about getting clean. But I think the breakup happened, I just went into mad depression, sitting in my ma's gaff. Good few months, maybe a year or two, it went past, and my mate Georgie Bowes, he came into my ma's house and seen me in the gaff, and probably just seeing the head of me, you know what I mean, knew I was broken. Didn't want to go on, felt mad depressed, wanted to kill myself. I wouldn't say I ever contemplated doing it.
Yeah,
but I was just thinking to myself, like, is this fucking life? I don't want to go on living this shit. You know, so he said to me, he goes, what's wrong with you? I told him out straight, I said, I feel like giving up. I said, I don't feel like going on. I haven't got the will to live, you know what I mean? I said, I'm an addict. I've tried the last 2 years being on methadone, trying to give it up. Now, I always had Courtney in my heart and in my mind, so she probably, like, I would have probably never have done it, you know what I mean? But I did feel the shame, and I felt the guilt, and that want to get clean was still always in me. So the shame that was attached to me not being clean. I'll answer that now. But so for the guilt that was attached to it, and me being a father and not being clean, that was dragging me down.
Yeah.
So Georgie said to me, do you want to get clean? How bad do you want it? I said, I want it really bad. And he goes, do you want to come down to my house and go under the blankets? You know what I mean? Go through the rattles. So I did. I picked a day. I think the following morning I got up, went to the toilet, had my methadone there, and I remember he rang me. It was weird because he rang me just as before I took my methadone and said to me, he goes, are you coming down to me? I says, yeah. He goes, right, take your stuff, he says, and come down. And I said, but I didn't take it yet. He said, should I take it? And he goes, if you want to do it, he said, but the quicker you stop, the quicker it's all going to be over.
Yeah.
So I said to myself, I said, you know what? I said, I'm going to fuck it. Poured it down the toilet. Don't know where I got the strength from, but I did. Poured it down the toilet and got me bag and went down to his gaff. And that started a 10-day, maybe more, of cold turkey that I had to go through.
You know what? If you hadn't poured it down the sink that time, though, you probably weren't mentally ready.
Probably not. Probably not. Yeah, that's it.
Well, and did he go through it? Did he go through getting himself clean or what?
He got himself clean like 20 years before. He was an alcoholic and a drug user, and he had gone through it all before. So he kind of had an idea of what I was going to be going through. You know what I mean? It's basically 10 days of just horrible flus, rattling, aches and pains. sweats, you know
Were
what
you
I mean?
ever like a fucker towards him? Oh,
I
were you
don't
always
know.
alright?
I probably wasn't. I don't know. He probably wasn't too bad. I'd say I was a right cunt, but he copped. Didn't I bring a load of Solvadine down with me?
Right.
In the bag, and after 3 days, he's seen the box in the bag. What the fuck are they?
Yeah, you're
I
only
was there
switching it.
bleeding codeine. He says you're not to be taking fucking Solvadine. So he took them away. I think that was the only time I got a bit pissed off.
Yeah.
Because it was helping me get asleep,
Yeah.
which I didn't realise was helping me prolong the recovery.
Yeah, yeah.
The cold turkey,
Oh,
like.
I did me in bits after taking themselves in the very strong.
Yeah, so I had to just stop taking them basically, and then went through. But every day, after three or 4 days, was horrendous. Then the 4th and 5th day, I remember waking up feeling a little bit all right, and not even with much sleep. You were getting 2 and 3 hours sleep during the night, so you were up most nights watching podcasts.
Sweating, I'd say as well.
I was watching the UFC. I used to love the UFC at the time, so I'd watch that all bleeding hours of the night, and then but got to the 5th, 6th, 7th day, I started feeling a little bit better to myself, and I always having Courtney in my mind and wanting to fucking keep going for her, because it's so easy to throw the towel in, even after going through a week or two of cold turkey. So after the week or two of cold turkey, then I start coming around, start eating a bit more, start wanting to venture out. So I start walking a little bit as out into the park and stuff. But getting back to so I went through the cold turkey and all, which at the time I thought was going to be the hardest part, going through the physical pains. Then getting out, but start going out with his gaff in the mornings, because obviously I wasn't sleeping, so I'd be out at 6 in the morning down the park. And I used to just walking, basically listening to my earphones, trying to just get the day by me, you know what I mean? Because every day in recovery, every day you get behind you is another day feeling better, feeling cleaner. But little did I know that the nightmare that was ahead of me, you know what I mean? Because I had been a heroin addict from the age of fucking 13 or 15. Brain obviously being asleep for 20, 15 years. So when
all the years it's
being development, I was dampening it with heroin and other drugs. Gets clean, but then I was just an emotional bleeding wreck. I was broken, like emotionally, physically, everything. I had to go through the breakup as well. The breakup was really hard on me now, because obviously I was at the getting clean, trying to stay clean, and the breakup had to happening then. All at the one time was a bleeding compounding of just shite on top of shite on top of shite, And me thing was, but I just didn't want to go back on drugs, so I had to just stay focused on that part of it. But getting back to being on drugs for so many years, I think my brain hadn't developed properly, and I always remember feeling real immature in me thinking and me ways, you know, and being real stupid. So I knew there was a lot of work to be done, and as well as that, my mental health deteriorated. Depression was kicking in, anxiety was mental. I got paranoid real easy. I remember being in shop queues where I'd go to venture off to the shop and I'd be standing there with me bleeding a few bits or whatever, and a woman at the till would be taking ages, you know, or something. I'd get up in my head that I was thinking, she knows I'm suffering here. She's doing this to annoy me, and I used to put the shopping down and walk out of the shop. You know, so that's how bad it got, where I could barely even talk to people. Like, compared to where I'm at today, it was just, I always remember feeling broken and thinking, like, Jesus, like, is this recovery then? I start worrying about, could I stay clean?
Do you feel like they were very bad in social? Like, you had no social skills back then compared to obviously
none,
now.
and I was a real bubbly, outgoing, but I always put it down to the drugs as well then.
You thought that's why you were bubbly and outgoing?
Probably,
taking drugs, right?
You know, now, obviously it was all the damage I was at the doing through taking drugs that was at the cause and all this. And then I wanted to really I wanted to try my best, obviously, to better myself, you know what I mean? To switch it all, to turn it around, to try to get the brain cell or my brain working again. And I've done a lot of research, I've done a lot of reading, done a lot of looking into stuff. And where was I going? We tried to talk here. What to do?
So I think you were at the. Oh my God!
He was saying he was in the shop and he couldn't cope with waiting in the queue. So you're trying to train your mind.
So trying to train my mind. So I started looking into a lot of stuff, you know, and doing a lot of reading around it, and then hearing about obviously putting yourself out there and practicing going into shops and doing it all. So I worked on myself for a long time. Read a book called Emotional Intelligence as well, which told me about the brain, what way our brain works through emotions and through traumas and different things. So whenever my mind was doing a little number on me, I was able to analyse it from what I read in the book and able to pull back and say, no, you're not going to bleed out, you're not, Kenneth, it's because of this, or it's because of the trauma. And so but going forward through that, I think I'm going to go off track a little bit with the thinking, but working on myself and all that, the hard part I found for me was the being emotionally broke, you know what I mean, and trying to get back on track. And one of the great things that helped me, I feel, was getting a job. I got a job as a truck driver, so that allowed me to go out into the workforce a bit.
Right.
You know,
and being in a different environment then as well.
Yeah, so I was able to keep myself busy, and that was every day for me in recovery, was waking up, what am I going to do for today? How can I stay clean and stay busy for the day? So getting the job helped me wrap it. And so that was another great one for me. Once I was walking, I started doing my walks every morning, I started getting into the jogging, So for me, this is where the running story begins, I think, after going through the cold turkey and all. Every time I ran, I felt my confidence was a little bit better.
Yeah.
I felt I had more balls.
And you were reaching a goal every time as well.
And I remember feeling that little bit more confident, a little bit more calmer, and a little bit more better in myself.
Yeah.
So I always remember latching onto running and thinking, right, if this is what I need to do every day to make me better, to stop me being paranoid, depressed, and all the mad stuff that was going on in my head at the time. So I just started running every day. And then I got known for running around the estate. So every day someone had seen me to be a beeping a horn, a little wave. And before I knew it then, those other lads in the area who I was seeing were struggling, drinking, partying on the weekends, doing all the mad stuff I was doing. And I encouraged them to come out with me. So there was 2 or 3 of us out running on a regular basis around the estate. Start booking little races, 5k races down in the Fino. And that's where I started to sport on, the running club, I suppose.
Did you, since that cold turkey, have you never went back on it?
Never went back. I've had a couple of slips, to say, tell you the truth. I never went back on heroin. For me, it was always hash or weed.
Yeah.
So if I had a slip, it was on that.
Right,
you know what I mean? And
but you never went back on heroin again?
Never went back on heroin, thank fucking God. Yeah. And for me, that was...
a good, strong mindset, though.
That was the demon for me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But even in my recovery now, I can have a beer where... A lot of fellas that do the 12-step program, and I go to meetings like NA meetings and AA.
You still go to them to this day?
Yeah, still go to them because it helps me, it solidifies me strength within me recovery to stay clean. Now, like I said, I can go and have a beer if I want to. Sometimes going for a beer is not a great idea because it could end up fucking on a bender, you could, or whatever.
Right,
but I can have a beer and go home and not end up back on drugs, where others in recovery cannot do that.
Yeah.
And I'd never recommend anyone in recovery to even try have a beer, whether it's a year down the line, 3 years clean, 4 years, whatever. Don't. And I don't do it. I don't drink very often because I don't like how it makes me feel. It depresses the life out of you. It's great when you're doing it and you're partying with all the gang. But how it makes me feel.
And it's to come down.
Yeah, I just feel like shit. So I choose not to. So where were we at there? Going back to with the running.
So you got a few lads then, kind of.
Yeah, so I was out running a lot, and a few of the lads in the area started running. So I started using Facebook, start posting ads or posting our runs, what we were doing, and we start getting a bit of momentum in the area. The other lads started joining on, so we just picked a little meeting spot, and it was the Phoenix Park, believe it or not, was the first spot. We'd say, right, we meet at 11 o'clock on a Wednesday or whatever, Friday, and we go for a run. Before we knew it, we 10 people in the club. One of the lads bought us a load of t-shirts.
Brilliant.
And
so was it called the Cherry Orchard Run Club now?
Yeah, right from straight from day one.
Did you come up with that name, or did someone else come up with that name?
No, we did. Yeah, because I always remember thinking of the Harriers running clubs and the different ones in their areas. So we come up with the Cherry Orchard Running Club.
The Cherry Orchard Running Club was the first running club I've heard of.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that, to be honest. Definitely.
So you obviously knew of other running clubs before this?
Kind of, I've heard of them.
You were getting into running obviously at the stage.
Yeah, it's mad that you say that. Vanessa, because I remember when I started, someone had said to me, there's not many running clubs in council estates.
Yeah.
They're always kind of in a bit more affluent areas. You know what I mean? And not every running club, but there wasn't many of them. You never heard it like...
Whereas now there's probably one in every...
They're everywhere, you know what I mean? They're all over, which is brilliant to see because for me, I think running is what saved me because I don't think I'd have stayed clean. That's being fair.
Yeah.
I don't think... When I was waking up and feeling what it was like being off drugs, but dealing with the mental health side of being off drugs, I don't think I'd have probably stayed clean.
Yeah.
When I got introduced to running, it gave me some sort of medication.
That was your missing piece.
Exactly. It was like a little bit of medication for me to continue and to get better. So,
can I ask a question? Do you think it switched your addiction? Like, do you think you've an addictive personality?
Definitely.
Yeah.
100%. Because, like, and you saying you still go to meetings. The reason I go to meetings is because every single person on this planet has an addictive personality, right?
Yeah.
It's whether we get addicted or not is the other thing. Now, at this stage, everyone's addicted to their phones. So anyone, 100%. You can't say that no one's an addict anymore.
Or online shopping.
Right, or online shopping, right? So it's about that impulse to buy, impulse to take drugs, impulse to do whatever it is.
Yeah.
If you can't control that, well, then it's an addiction.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like, what was the question again?
Sorry, I was saying, did you switch your addiction?
Yeah, so getting back to that bit, right? I always remember thinking that this was an outlet, and even if it means that I'll do it, it's a good addiction to have, right?
Yeah.
And then a mate of mine, John Falsberg, you probably know John, he's a fucking slagging cunt. He's always saying, Kenneth, you can't keep running away from your problems. Right? You can't. And I said, I'm not, you freak, I'm not. But it's funny that you say that because looking back, it was a form of another form of addiction.
Like you were saying.
Because if I hadn't got running, I'd probably have something else. But now I kind of look at my whole week revolves around making sure I do something that I like to do, and not making it an obsession. You know what I mean? So fitting in my sea swims every day or every week if I can, a couple of days a week, getting to the gym, making sure I'm running, doing my meditation. All that is part of my You know what I mean? It's probably part of my addictive nature as it is, but I definitely took it to a new level when it came to the running and being addicted to it, because I ran every day for years. And
you've done like some unbelievable did you do the Ironman and stuff?
Yeah,
and all
I got obsessed.
How many times have you done that?
I done the Ironman. I done Ironman about 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, I know.
I've done a couple of them.
Times, yeah.
Like I would say, you're addicted to fitness now, not even technically running.
Yeah.
It's the endorphins you're addicted to.
Yeah.
Because when you take heroin or take drugs, you
you
get serotonin, and I don't know what other endorphins they send. I think there's loads of them anyway. But you get them and you get a high from it. So I get the high from running now.
Yeah.
And I get a high. Sometimes I get it from meditation a little bit now, and sometimes I get it from sea dips. So I get all my highs. I'm getting them from different places, just not getting obsessed with getting them.
When you meditate, sorry, do you see anything?
I can meditate, believe it or not. I'm not getting that good at it. And it's obviously through practice. You can trip out your head on it. There's a holotropic meditation, breath work you can do, where you do your breath work, which starves oxygen to your brain, which makes you see colours and everything else, but it can be fucking mental.
No wonder he's addicted to it.
But it's well, because people do say that, well, you just want to get stoned. But no, I don't. I'll do breath work. I'll only do breath work certain times of the week, say. You know what I mean? If I'm out sea dipping, I love doing my breath work because of the cold. They say it's great for heating up your internal organs and that. But for me, when I meditate, the best bit of advice I was given was, because I get confused around it like everyone. Someone says meditation. How can you sit there in silence and not think? And not, you know what I mean? For me, your mind just starts to wander. Yeah. So I asked a guy, friend of mine, Austin Toohey, love Austin to bits, great, like a mentor to me. I'd bring him, he's into mindfulness, meditation, a real clever man. And I remember sitting down with him saying, because I when I got clean, I got into meditation, but I could never click with it, never got it right, but I done it anyway. Because I always remember someone saying, it's called the practice.
Yeah,
meditation practice. You've got to practice it for it to become easy, for it to become good, for you to become good at it.
Right.
So I practiced every day, 5 minutes a day. Then, but getting back to that, what you see. So I asked him one day, I said, what is meditation? What is mindfulness? And we were sitting in a park at the time, because we used to meet up, have a little coffee in the park, and he said to me, don't say that, and just listen. And I'm sitting there and I can hear the birds. And he says, I want you to feel, and I want you to smell, and I want you to see. So he says, they're all your what do you call them, your senses.
Yeah, I was going to say that third eye.
All your senses. So he goes, when you focus on all your senses rather than focusing on feelings, what's going on in your life or all the madness that's in the world, he said, that's what meditation kind of is, or mindfulness. Right. It's trying to bring it down to 5 minutes of you focusing on all your senses.
Living in the moment.
Living it within that. And it's mad, because when you get good at it, it is like a little switch that's switching your brain off from thinking and from switching. But now, don't get me wrong, it's not fucking a miracle cure. I'm just saying, like, when you practice
what 5 minutes of that does for you?
Do you ever get emotional when you meditate?
Good question. No, I don't think so, because I'm kind of like, I do get emotional, like at times, but no, I don't think with meditation, I don't think I get emotional. You know what I mean? But I am kind of, I don't come across as an emotional person, right? But when I'm on my own, I'll have a little cry, and I don't be afraid to say it.
Yeah.
Like if something comes up for me, I'll have a little cry, or if there's an issue that is out of my control, you know what I mean? I'll probably have a little cry.
It's just an overwhelmed feeling, probably.
Yeah. But for me, getting back to the meditation, I don't really get emotional during meditation, because I'm that engrossed in the connection between me senses and me, if that makes sense. Now that takes probably years of practice, right? Yeah. To get it right. But like I said, a 5 minute meditation can make the difference between me having a good day or a bad day. Yeah. Or a difference between me sitting here calm talking to you, or me being agitated and
riddled, anxiety.
So, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so for me, that's where I'm at with meditation. It's for me to switch my mind from the mind that's after being created over 30 years of madness, to the mind that I can create if I just switch it a little bit. Yeah. To walking out the door, not the traumatised addict, criminal, that fucked up fucking that. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at with meditation and where it goes. So
you've literally switched your mindset then.
Yeah, and I love what I do. I'll do it even sometimes when I'm sitting in a car and like if someone cuts across you, because I always say your response to someone is dictating where it's going to go. Yeah. After that, so I always try.
Take deep breath.
Deep breath. Let him have it.
I feel calmer after him even just saying that. Do you feel?
He's probably annoyed. But you know what? Even like there's I could be sitting here all day talking about. I have a tool bag the size of a fucking haversack. So whenever something comes up for me, whether it's anger, emotion, trauma, guilt, jealousy, anything like that, I whip something out of my tool bag and I'll correct it. I'll try my best rather than feeding into the emotion.
What do you mean? Like you'll whip a hammer out?
No.
What do you mean? Like, I'm thinking.
Okay, I'll tell you. For instance,
your tool bag, like as in your meditation is your tool.
For instance, I had a lot of stuff around jealousy. Right, for me, jealousy was a massive issue for me when I broke up with my ex. She'd been with someone else, so the trust thing was there. There was loads going on. So for me now, it's kind of like I had to do a bit of work on myself around that, because if not, I wouldn't be in a relationship today.
Yeah.
So for me, I used to just, whenever I feel the emotion of jealousy coming on, I used to have a little thing in my mind where I'd say, no, accept that. It's jealous. Yes, you are jealous. You know what I mean? It's only a feeling you have. It's up to you now. Do you want to continue feeling this way? So we should just blank it. So like, but that's what I mean when I say tools.
So you meant like mental tools.
Yeah,
like,
doesn't mean like a screwdriver.
I don't like.
She's
Your
thinking of
man
me with a big hammer.
I just said your man crashed you with the car. I was like, he's a
hammer. No, sorry. I should have explained that a bit better. My emotional
that's
tool
just
bag.
me now going 90.
Yeah. No, but that's a good one, because a friend of mine said that. He said, you have to know your emotional tool bag, you call it. So again, I come there, a lot of my reactions would be not rational, coming from the rational part of your brain. So your emotional part of your brain will make you react not in a horrible way, but most likely in the wrong.
As well.
Yeah, because you're acting out of anger, emotions, or jealousy, whatever.
Yeah.
When I react, it's kind of, I feel the emotion first, and I'm at getting so good at in tune with myself that I can feel the emotion, I accept how I feel.
You accept it, that's
and then I have a little thought in my head, right, where do I want to bring the emotion? Do I want to bring it into being jealous and feeling like shit and having that knot in my stomach? No. Or do I want to bring it into anger and feel like shit and have anger in my stomach? Or do I want to just let it go? And that for me, I practice that on a daily basis, which helps me get through with my day.
And now you can.
You know what I mean? So that's my emotional tool bag.
Yeah.
And then a lot of it is from being gone through the stuff and coming out the other side and knowing that I just have the bit of hope, you know what I mean? And like,
and you will
that you'll get through it. Yeah, no matter. So don't get try not to act on the emotions as such. You know what I mean? Sometimes you can't help it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Come here, we're going to touch on a little bit of what you're doing now, because you've obviously done a lot for the community, and you've done as much as you can fitness-wise anyway, I think. So what are you doing now? Because I noticed you changed even like the likes of your Instagram from like Cherry Orchard running to coach by Ken.
Yeah,
so you're obviously trying to get into a little bit more now in coaching, are you?
Yes, the running club is flying at the minute. Yeah, it's fucking brilliant. Care of itself. And while I'm on the subject, just thanks to all the coaches and the volunteers and to everyone else, because I know a lot of people look at me and think, is that the main successful club?
Yeah, I noticed you had
I was the one that just got the ball rolling. Once we start getting momentum, we needed people to steer it, to keep it going. So all them volunteers every day are doing savage work, like between all our different groups we have. We've about 12 different groups throughout the week, and without them, like, I wouldn't have been successful as we were.
Yeah, sure. There's even the kids. The card I went up to, the kids, like 5-year-olds, like, and there's even volunteers there up helping as well. Like, they're all amazing.
Yeah. So now at the minute the club is doing brilliant. We're hoping that the plans for the new generation or the development of Cherry Orchard has a running track in it going forward. Brilliant. The plans was that we'll have it. We didn't get confirmation of any of it yet, but we're hoping, fingers crossed, by the end of this year we'll have a running track planned out for Cherry Orchard. Like, what it's had to bring into the community is fucking unbelievable for me.
Keeping the community in a community. Yeah. So it's hard these days, I feel like, in this day.
Like
You don't really get that, don't you, not anymore?
All the little kids that come out to us twice a week, like half of them don't get out of their gaffs, and they don't have parents that bring them off the sports days and do them out running and everything else. So for me, it's massive fucking part of the community I'm at the building. And because of all the years of working, like, I've done voluntary work for years, then I transitioned into the council, funding me a wage, getting a few bob there, but now I'm trying to monetize.
Because you did that a lot, you did all that without getting a wage, didn't you? Like,
I've done it for years, like it's only in the last 5 years I've started to get a few bob.
So you're doing it 15 years, like, and only in the last 5 years
15, 20 years doing it without getting a penny, and in the last 5 years we got funding at a couple of years ago, and now I'm at the getting, so I'm on 28 hours a week now, which is brilliant, delighted with that. Doing half of the running club stuff and half of the community sports stuff as well.
At least it's down as like an actual wage then,
But I have changed my Instagram recently to Coach by Ken, because I want to start monetising, start getting a few clients, private clients. So I've been lucky enough to work with Joe Doyle and his crowd over in Spain. I
seen that. I was only saying that 2 weeks ago. What was that?
He brought me over there. He does a business retreat where he gets businessmen come over to learn all about business, basically, 3-day event. And his program is called Mind, Body and Wallet, so he gets me in to do the body part of it. Right. So it's like health, fitness, the mind part of it then, and he has a nutritionist there as part of all this business programming thing he does. So the retreat entails like 3 days of business, but the first part of the morning is all health, well-being and keeping healthy and fit.
Basically, if you look after yourself before you can look after business as well. Like.
So what you get to, basically I was getting up every morning, meeting the lads down at the beach, doing sea swims, hikes.
That's brilliant.
We were doing we done a little workout one day. We went up to the CrossFit gym. So basically just keeping them fit, keep the fitness side of the retreat going for the morning. And then after that they went off and done their business stuff. You know, but from that I'm starting to get clients off them. The lads like me, like, from what I'm at the bring it to the week over there. So they want to keep me on as their coach. So I do like.
So what is your coaching like?
Basically,
is it a fitness coach?
It's
like,
a fitness / running coach. So I do both. I do running coaching and I do fitness coaching. I have an app. It's called EverFit. So basically, I'll sign you up to the app. You get a notification, you signed up to the app, you get your workouts, your meal plans, and I check in with you on video call once a week.
Right, brilliant.
And then you're added into a WhatsApp group where I put people into groups who I think will suit each other.
Yeah,
so if I have 5
like-minded.
people, that 5 girls, for instance, that have kids.
You put them together.
Put them in a WhatsApp. So basically, it's a coach in your hand, on your phone, basically, and you check in with me. If I don't see you doing the workouts, if I don't get notification of the workouts, I do give you a message that
so
night.
if you have a workout set for them, they'll say, right, I'm going to go and do this workout now. I'll take that off, then you get the notification. Then
on the Tuesday, I'm on to them saying, when you get one day's workout done, or is there anything I can help you with to motivate you?
You're there to push them. Like.
Yeah, basically, a bit of accountability. Because, like, I know people, like, everything's going online nowadays, and people use excuses. Can't get to the gym, can't get to this, can't get to that. The lads I'm working with at the minute and the girls I'm working with are all busy enough. So I'm giving them workouts they can do 20 minutes, 30 minutes in the house before they leave their gaff, or when they come in work, when the kids are there, whatever. So there's not really an excuse, you know what I mean?
Even need to
so
go
it isn't just for men though, because I did notice you have a men's group that's on a Saturday morning, don't you?
Yeah, I have a men's mental health group, like a walk and talk group that we do on a Saturday. But no, I'm open to take off 2 girls. One girl in America, believe it or not.
Oh, brilliant.
I met her on a half marathon years ago. So she has me as a coach.
Right.
And then I have another girl at Ballyfermot. So I'll put them together as a group. And because I'm only starting now, I don't know, I haven't got loads of clients at the minute, you know what I mean? So I'm just
Maybe
trying
you
to...
might have 2 new clients out.
You never know. I'm there if you see me.
Is it based around running though as well? Like, do you have to do running in it, or can you just do fitness? Can you choose?
Do anything you want. You don't have to
run.
run. You can do anything. This has like 1,000 different exercises on it, the app.
So you choose tailored to them.
Yeah, I'd have a consultation call with them. Ask them what their goals are, what they're looking to do, what part of the body they want to shape up more so than others, and then we just put a workout together Monday to Friday that'll suit them. 3 days a week mainly, you know what I mean?
Yeah, brilliant. I actually do sometimes on it.
So, but yeah, trying to break into the online coaching. I'm delighted to have a couple of good solid clients at the minute, doing all right with that. Trying to boost me Instagram as well, so Coach by Ken for anyone listening, if you can follow me.
That. So if anyone does want to reach out and do that, will they just go onto your Instagram to do that?
Yeah, just go onto the Instagram and you can reach out to me through Instagram. Give me a follow.
And do you have a link there then that they can sign up?
There's links. There's links in there to like a website, a job form where you can sign up for the program. The program is basically 12 weeks. It's €50 a week, but I do ask people to pay for the 12 weeks up front. Yeah. That way they're not fucking about. They're not committing to it, and they're serious about getting into shape. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's the way the program works. But yeah, hopefully, like, over the next couple of months, I'm gonna, like, the club, like I said, it's still, my heart is there in the club. Yeah. I really want to push to get the running track going, but at the same time, I want to start making a few bob on the side.
Yeah, so, after so many years of putting into
you know what I mean. So now things are starting to look good with the coaching side. So hopefully, I'll start using.
It will only take it for a few people to see that, and anyways, now be jumping.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. Even
that's it. You know what I mean? Because you're good at organising it. You're good.
Yeah.
And
people look at you and they see what you've done to yourself and they say, well, we'll go to him, that's what they want done. Do you know what I mean?
Well, the way I'm looking at it, some of the programs put together is Fit as That 50. So
he's a busy man, isn't he?
Yeah,
I have Fit as That 50 as the program I'm putting together mainly now. It's for people to get fucking into shape so that when you do hit 50 you're in good nick. Yeah. You're not fucking, like, I'm 50 now in January, feeling all right, feeling good.
I seen that video nearly 50, I run up to him with a 6-pack, I was like, alright, grand.
So for me it's kind of like, that's where I'd love other people to be at.
Do you know what? Even I'm just talking to you because I know my dad's around the same age as you. Yeah. Like, my dad now would probably feel uncomfortable going to the gym now. Whereas when it comes to probably going and doing like a men's walk or talk, it'd be ideally just.
But this is where the app comes in handy. Like, for someone starting off, I always say to people that they're going to live the whole fucking life on the hamster wheel, wishing they started. Right? It's not going to be fucking easy. The first couple of weeks are hard, but once you get fit, the rest of your life changes. I swear to God, when I really mean that, because everything becomes easier. You're not stressing your body out through fitness and training. So when stress comes in your life, it's a bit easier to deal with. Because it's a similar stresses, you know what I mean? Yeah. So for me, I'm passionate about my goal now is to target dads, and hopefully if the women that are listening to this podcast as well, their fathers, like, they'll sit there forever not making changes, but if you pick it up on them and say, Dad, look, I feel like your lifestyle is not great. I'd have loved someone to say that to me years ago, which obviously taught my daughter being born, and that inspired me, gave me the kick up the hole I needed. But even for any girls listening to this now, if your dad is living a lifestyle where he's sitting around all day, going to work every morning, eating junk food, drinking on the weekends, the chances are, right, when he hits 60, 50, 60, everything's going wrong. I'm feeling stuff going wrong with me hitting 50 in January, and I'm strong as fuck, like, you know what I mean?
You know what it is?
But I know it's me balance and no little things that, and I'm saying, imagine if I hadn't been fit, strong as I am,
I know.
I'd probably be a lot fucking...
But like, I feel like fitness is such a big thing now because there's gyms everywhere. There's such a big thing. Whereas years ago, like men that are 50 now, like they probably only starting to go and starting to get into fitness. Yeah. So even if it is as small as just kind of contacting you and doing something through an app, whether you were saying just go for a walk for 20 minutes.
Yeah. See, the thing about it is, it's part of the. I think there's a lot to be said around community and connection. Yeah. Because a lot of fellas, if they're sitting in the gaff and they're feeling unfit and they're only going to work, making money, going to bed, they're just doing what most of the fucking planet is doing.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't feel like they have the inspiration or that little push they need. With the app, when I introduce them to a program, they get put on a group. Or ideally, the video chat on a Saturday is deadly.
They're with lads that
because they're getting to look at lads and they're looking at fellas going,
you.
Jesus, he looks like he's a fat fucker and that.
Yeah,
so, you know what I mean? Not saying that any clients are fat fuckers. Yeah, listen, I'm as real as they get. It's sort of like I do say to people as well.
Just saying what other people I think.
You'll inspire others, but if you were on the group, so that's why it's important for lads who are afraid to fucking take the step forward. Give me a ring and at least have a chat. Yeah. And I'll give them a few little pointers. I'll plant a few seeds that'll make them think.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe I can do something to change. You know what I mean? So
a few little things they need to hear that they probably won't hear off someone else because they're not around that people with that type of mindset.
Yeah, that mentality. Mentality. I can't even say that word.
No, I can't say. Mentality.
But yeah, no, definitely health and fitness. It's hard, but once you nail it and you get a bit of it going, it's amazing.
Even if it's so small. No, that's great. Is there anything else that you want to get across, Ken? While we're here?
No, just to get everyone to give me a follow.
Yeah.
Like, you know any dads, boyfriends, uncles, granddads.
That's what my dad gave for Christmas.
But just if you wanted to, that's another great one. You can sign them up to the program. And the thing is, like, it'd be about just planting. But yeah, basically, I just want to try.
Come here, see the way you were saying it's 12 weeks. Can you start at the 12 weeks at any stage?
At any stage.
Right, so it's not like a certain date that you're only starting.
No certain dates. You just start whatever day you sign up. I'll do the consultation with you. We'll figure something out. And the first 4 weeks is step by step. So I really try to introduce habits rather than baiting into your head. No, you go to the gym, new change. Know what I mean? No, ease
little
into
changes.
Little tiny changes and make it become like that. When you don't do it, you miss it. Yeah. That's what my goal would be. That someone would miss that training and think, oh fuck, I have to get to the gym. Yeah. You know what I mean?
So everyone thinks you have to start out so big, but it's not. It's all the little small things that really get you to big things.
Tiny little changes. 10 minutes walking every day. I had someone on. Said to them, get out of your gaff 10 minutes a day. Walk 10 minutes a day. Come back to me next week and tell me if you've done it. And then I'll add on to that or whatever. But it doesn't have to be major. You know what I mean?
Perfect. Thanks so much, Ken.
That's really it, isn't it?
No, but I guess. I'm delighted I got on. But,
No, it was actually
me and my shitty t-shirt.
No.
You changed
anyway.
He's a welcome guest.
So that's literally all for today on the Work Wife podcast. So if everyone could go over to our Instagram as well, if anyone has been listening, and give us a follow.
On the Work Wife podcast. And then as well follow Ken at Coach by
Ken.
Coach by Ken. And so next Sunday then.
Yeah, 2 weeks. Sunday week. What are you going to say?
Sorry, if you want to jump onto me, we went off topic a bit, I think, about all the challenges I done. But if you want to look at some of I done the biggest race in Ireland was 200k. I done my Ironman. But a lot of maybe on my YouTube channel as well. Keep Fit with Ken.
Right, keep fit with Ken.
And hit the subscribe button.
And come here, Ken can subscribe. Ken used to have a podcast as well if anyone wants to research it.
Ordinary, extraordinary. You have a couple of...
You need to keep them all the same name.
So they can find on the same place. What is it
I need, do you know what I need? I need a manager or something to put everything together. But I am starting to get good at it, where I'm putting my stuff on my LinkedIn and I'm starting to learn a bit about it. But I will pull them all together and start having them all in one place.
Right, so Instagram, Coach by Ken.
Coach by Ken.
What's your YouTube?
YouTube is Keep Fit with Ken.
Right.
No, I think I'll change that.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Ken.
But I think you have to type in the Keep Fit with Ken together, so I don't know. But anyway.
Right, he's going to get them up and running.
Go to my Instagram and there should be links to all them.
Right, perfect. On Coach by Ken.
Coach by Ken. Yes. So get your dads and all them up out their arse and give me a shout.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks so much, Ken.
You're so welcome, girls. No bother. Good stuff. I hope it was all